Hi everyone, in this video we're going to be taking a look at Seesaw from a student's view and really diving into what it looks like when students are working on different activities in Seesaw and all the different components of that, and really how students can get the best bang for their buck when they're creating activities to really make them come to life. So let's get to it. Now right now I'm signed in as a test student in a test class, so this is actually the student's view. And very briefly, before we jump into the activities tab, I also wanted to show you where messages are for students. They're in the same spot as for teachers. If Sam were to click on this messages tab, he's going to see all the messages that he has from his teacher and from other different groups, and he could send a message back to the teacher, and he can also initiate a conversation to only his teacher. He cannot send a message to other students or to other teachers that he is not assigned to, just to his teacher. So that is something that students can do. Also, if I jump over into my journal, I can also see specifically my items or items in my class journal, or even sort items by a specific folder if my teacher has created them. But now let's jump into the activities and see how we can use activities as a student to really get the best bang for our buck when we're learning. Now these first few items here all have a template that students are going to be working off of, but just so you know, if there is no template and a student goes to add a response, first page they're going to come to would be this page. So for example, maybe they're taking a photo of their work. My camera is currently just blocked by a cover, but you get the idea. They could take a picture of it and submit that. They could also do the same thing with taking a video. They could upload something that is already done. Maybe it was a written response and they're going to be writing out a note. Also do that as well. They could add in a link or go to the drawing, which is my personal favorite, to where they could do all of those things and much more. Now for the first activity I want to jump into, I'm going to go ahead and do the place value hundreds, tens, and ones. So I'm going to hit add response just like a student would normally do. And if it's anything like me as a student, they probably forgot to look at the instructions first. So just so you know, rather than clicking on the X and having to start all over, at any point in time, students can click view instructions and it will give them directions of what they were supposed to do. It's highly recommended that when teachers go about creating activities, they lay out the steps for students so they know exactly what they should be doing. So I've already hit the green plus button, selected my name, count the blocks, and press the draw button to write the number on the line. So that is the first step that I'm going to be doing. Now remember, since students have a touch screen, they can actually go about changing all of these things. And my recommendation would also be to teach students how they can record their voice while also writing or typing at the same time. How they do that is they could go about choose their color, and they would click the record button on the side, the microphone. It's going to count them down, and as soon as this starts, it's going to start recording their voice. The students could go, okay, I have 4 ones, 1 10, and 1 100. So that was 114. Now what I just did is I hit the pause button that was on the side. What that's going to allow me to do is I can even change things right now while the video is not recording. So for example, maybe I'm going to change to green, and I'm going to actually do this one before I record. And now when I press it again, now I've added in my second section 421. And now for that piece is already going to be done and written before the recording even started. I'm going to change over to purple. For my bottom right, I have 5 ones, 1 10, and 2 hundreds. I'm going to press pause again. And again, the pause is an optional thing, but I think it's super great for students just to show them how things work. And they could also change out what their marker looks like, the different pieces, or they can even use the mouse if they press and hold it on their screen to show how many, which is super fun and cool. So let me show you how that works. For this one, I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 ones, 1 10, and 3 hundreds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write 7 1 3 317. Now that I have everything that I wanted on my recording / writing, I'm going to press the green check. And what that's going to do is going to create a video. But this video is actually just hiding basically what already was written. So the video itself is actually just a big, huge square. So students could shrink that if they wanted, or they could leave it to be the full size and kind of just cover everything. What's going to happen now is when I play back this video, it's going to show me exactly what I did here. Their voice. The students could go, okay, I have 4 ones, 1 10, and 1 100. So that was 114. Now I've added in my second section 421. For my bottom right, I have 5 ones, 110, and 2 hundreds. For this one, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ones, 110, and 3 hundreds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write 7, 1, 3, 317. Now, if a student doesn't like their recording, it's important that they would hit the undo button. That will then eliminate the recording. This is just eliminating where I was moving it to. So now the play button is gone. And I could even go back through and eliminate some of the pieces that I had written if I made a mistake and I needed to start over, for example. So make sure the students are aware of the undo button as well as the zoom feature, to where you can actually zoom in on the page, move things around to where it's a lot easier to write exactly what one needs in the correct spot. And then when I zoom back out, I can see exactly what's needed there. That's great for writing in smaller spaces, so make sure students are aware of the zoom feature as well. Some other components that could really make a student's activity come to life would be to make sure that students are also aware that they could take a picture of their work and put it into the drawing piece. So my camera is blocked right now, but let's pretend that that's the picture I wanted. I could bring that over onto my work. I could also take a video at the same regard. So my video is starting. Again, my camera is currently blocked by a cover, but let's say this is a video that I wanted. I could also pause the video and continue the video at any time if I chose to. I'm going to hit my green check mark. Here's my video. I could put that off to the side and play it whenever I wanted. So these are all parts of my activity that I now have that are good to go. Right now it's on the drag feature to where I can move things around. If I wanted to go back to writing, I would just click on the pen or the highlighter, for example, to highlight different pieces of my text. Tons of different things that I can do here, as well as the eraser button to get rid of things that are on my screen. So lots of different things on the drawing tab to be aware of. Again, at the same time, you could always change your background. You can add in different pieces. Maybe students are working on equations or different shapes, something like that, or base 10 blocks. Maybe you're having them practice regrouping and they have to show what the next piece would be. You can do that as well. So let's pretend I had 10 tens here. Maybe I would add in a 100 block and say that that is equal to the same thing. So lots of different ways that you can use the drawing tab in order to make your life a lot simpler. Students can also add a voice recording of themselves to where they're actually going to record their voice here, test 1 2, and then they could bring that into this box to where the teacher could just listen to their response if there isn't enough room to write something out. Now that the activity has been completed, it goes into the waiting for teacher response section. So students no longer going to see it until it's approved by the teacher. But if I went back into my activities, there's tons of other ways of using activities to really show what students know. For example, in this one, this activity was created to where students are dragging and recording their voice at the same time. So I would just hit my record voice, and I'm going to say the word as I move it, blend, end. It goes into this section, trick, ick, and then let's say I pause. Let's say I'm good to go. I would hit my green check. When I press play, it's going to go through and it's going to move the words across as the student is actually saying those pieces. So this is a great way for students to show what they know without you being able to be in multiple places at one time. Hopefully this gives you and your students some new ideas of how to use Seesaw and its activities to really show what students know, whether it's using the draw slides, recording their voices, adding in pictures and videos. The possibilities are endless.